What should someone do if their country places restrictions on them because of their race? For Homer Plessy, a mixed-race man from New Orleans, the answer was clear: resist. And he did. In 1896, he became the focus of a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision that put racial segregation on trial. The story starts 13 years earlier, when the Supreme Court struck down the Civil Rights Act of 1875, deeming it unconstitutional. This allowed individual states to pass their own discriminatory laws segregating white and black people. And in 1890, Louisiana instituted the Separate Car Act, which required railroads to enforce segregated train cars. The following year, a committee of Southern civil rights activists formed to challenge the act through the courts. One of its members, Homer Plessy, who was 1/8 African American, agreed to purchase a train ticket and sit in the whites-only car. The conductor ordered Plessy to leave the train car, and when Plessy refused, he was arrested and taken to jail. Convicted of violating the Separate Car Act by criminal court judge John Howard Ferguson, Plessy and his fellow activists appealed the case all the way up to the Supreme Court. After hearing the arguments, it was Associate Justice John Marshall Harlan's opinion that the act was unconstitutional, because separating people based on their race communicates that one race is inferior to the other, which goes against the Constitution's 13th and 14th Amendments. But he was the only justice that felt that way. The rest of the court ruled that the Separate Car Act did not violate the 13th Amendment because it did not reestablish slavery, or the 14th Amendment because the separate train cars had equal conditions. Ultimately, the Supreme Court ruled that the act was constitutional. By establishing the legal doctrine of separate but equal, Plessy versus Ferguson set an important legal precedent that divided U.S. society for decades until the case was overturned in 1954. Can you think of ways the separate but equal precedent impacted opportunities for racial integration?